Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of the MRL. My name is Strifium, and joining me for Tier 2 racing here in France, Unicorn, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you, Striff. This one, it's finally that time where the tracks open up. You have Monaco, you have Baku, then Canada. Things get a little bit more overtaky, but now France, the walls, they just seem to disappear. They're still there, but they're so much further away from the track. So I'm super excited to be here in France and to hopefully see a few more overtakes that we've been seeing in the past few weeks.
Well, we've had a lot of tight racing to see these past few rounds. We went from Monaco to Baku to last week through Montreal. Now, as you said, a lot more open here. 15 turns here around Le Castellet. It is Circuit Paul Ricard here for the French Grand Prix. Oh, it wasn't muted. There we go. Go. Lovely. Technical difficulty. It is round 10. And we have seen two races here around France already this week. Tier 3 yesterday, which you partook in. Alex Bido and I on the commentary for that. A very strategical race. Not too much going on as far as safety cars. Then we had the Americas, which was a little bit different. There was one safety car. I personally drove in that one. Can't say too much about that. Yeah, we're not going to go there. But it's been a very dynamic season so far, and we've already had a good couple of races to gauge ourselves for this Tier 2 race today with Tier 3 and, of course, Americas. Next week we go to... not next week. So for those, if you don't know, next week is a break week. We will not be doing any of the MRL normal racing. We might have some community events and things like this, but it is going to be an Easter break week. So Austria will be happening the 4th of April, or 3rd there. I can't date at the moment, but yeah, we're pushing it back just a week. Give all the drivers an opportunity to, just chill. Round 12, Britain, Hungary, Belgium, Italy, Singapore, Russia, Japan, the US, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi as well on the calendar. 22 rounds of racing for all 5 divisions. It's been a very, very intense season so far. And of course, big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. You can check them out via the link in the chat and of course the panels below. On their website, they have some amazing, amazing sim racing rigs. They have motion sims, they have wheel stands, they have everything that you need to take your racing to the next level. Unicorn, let's take a look at the standings. Azir has been on a tear. We'll see what he's able to do here in France. The Williams driver leading this championship. Hurricane, second position for the Ferrari. We have Neon there in third. The McLaren, well, things are quite tight between him and that Ferrari right now. Alfa Romeo, Williams, and McLaren, the top 3. Well, let's see what this race will bring us. And with that being said, I think we're just about ready to go racing here in France.
Yeah, bang on time. We're just getting that lobby locked down, and then we'll set that. Let's send that message out to get everyone readied up. We are now all ready to go. So we'll put that message out, and then racing action can get underway here. And well, I'm really looking forward to seeing these drivers on a bit more of an open track here tonight, Striff.
Yeah, I am as well, and we'll just have to see if that safety car does play a factor in this race. We had one safety car in Americas last night, very, very early on. That was the only safety car that we saw. Yesterday in Tier 3, no safety cars at all. So I think this might just be a strategical race. Something else we haven't seen yet is rain. So we might see rain here in France. I think back to Season 2 of MRL, the first ever broadcasted MRL race, France. We had rain, and it was an amazing race. Find it on YouTube. But this race, well, I think Tier 2, I think they need some rain now. I think we had Tier 3 had the rain, Tier 1 had the rain. I think Tier 2 is due.
Yeah, and I think France. I don't think you can't really be too mad about rain around France. It's obviously going to make it a little bit more challenging in terms of slipperiness, lack of grip, etc. But it's a manageable track. You make a little mistake, there are these huge runoffs here for the drivers to sort of go into, and it gives you a little bit of leeway here and there. But always the roll of the dice, the dynamic weather, and it's very dry here in qualifying. But that doesn't mean it's not a wet race. We'll have to wait for someone to hop us a weather report.
Take a look at the grid. We have Harlem here for Renault today, partnering with XTXP Azir. As said earlier, the championship leader in the Williams now. Scar's there in third position on the timing tower for the moment for Alfa Romeo. We have Neon here for McLaren. Jake in the Red Bull. Brahmi in the Alpha Tauri. Crampy in the Alfa Romeo, as well as Jones in 8th position for Racing Point. Swifty there in 9th on the timing tower in the other Red Bull. We have Max O'Connor here in Mercedes, as well as Formula Chris, XTXP, Liam, Pavel, Henners, Jean, Aliens, Hurricane, Hugh-Sam, and Darian Alfie on the grid today. And the forecast is being told that it will be a dry campaign. So it's going to come down to pace, and as we draw closer to Tier 1 racing tomorrow, things do get tight in these grids, and I think Tier 2, well, we'll just have to see how everyone wants to come through on qualifying here. There's a little bit of a... Well, there's a game to play in the qualifying, I think, around France. Unicorn, you drove here yesterday. What do you think about tires here?
Yeah, the tire situation around here it's an interesting one. It's a bit like Spain, when you will probably see a lot of invalid laps in the opening stages. The softs, they don't last. This track is ridiculously hard to keep those tire temperatures down. It really grinds these tires up. The softs, they're really good for about 6 laps in the race, and that's about it before they lose all sense of pace. If you qualify on them, you start in that top 10 on the red wall tires, you're going to have about 2 laps where you can start to pull away, and then you're going to start getting eaten alive by the people on the medium tires. But like you said, there's a game to play here. It's how hard do you want to go. You can see there Neon, well, he's on an out lap, but he's just proving the point, running wide on the straight just to invalidate a lap. Maybe just practice as to see whether that will invalidate it, because you want to see what your pace is, where you'd stack up. And it's just interesting to watch these drivers prepare themselves for a soft run, but most of them will qualify on the mediums, I think, or at least those who are confident that they can get up into the top 10. So Neon definitely going to be up there. We saw an incredible qualifying from him when we cast our minds back into Baku, but didn't work out for him in the race.
I'll tell you one thing, Neon will be the first driver to set the lap, of course, but I do want to bring our attention to one driver on this grid. XTXP driving in the Renault, home Grand Prix for him. He has won this race in the MRL. He won it in the European Division last season, if memory serves correct. So we'll see what he is able to do around home today. I was talking to Gaziag earlier in the voice chat, and he had some colorful language about XTXP. So we'll see if XTXP is able to prove him wrong.
Well, a home GP, it sort of just heightens everything up a little bit. It depends, you know. XTXP, I think one of few French drivers. There's a few nationalities where we've got more rather than others, but it's so cool to have, you know, such a diverse, you know, community of people everywhere. When you've got that home Grand Prix, we saw it last season at Mexico, where there you go, you can see Neon there on his flying laps, just invalidating coming out of turn 7. But yeah, a home GP, a home win, it just means that little bit more to a driver, especially now with the interviews as well. Well, if someone does get on the podium in the home Grand Prix, if XTXP does it tonight, I'm sure we'll hear, you know, just how much it does mean to them. Even if it is still virtual, it's just a little bit cooler to do it at your home Grand Prix.
Well, the home Grand Prix is historically in MRL. I don't think they've always gone the way of the home driver, but in his case last season it did. We think, of course, to the Netherlands this season, where we saw several Dutch drivers fail to secure wins around home. Not several, but a few. And we also had Spain. We had Canada. I can definitely confirm Canada, for me, not the best outing. Neon to the line. 27.491 on soft compound tires here, invalidated, of course. His teammate Henners behind him is beginning a lap.
Yeah, I'm having a look, see if there's anyone flying. Most of these track maps are coming back red to me. Jean, he's still valid. Crampy, well, those times have definitely been dropped by the Alfa Romeo squad. Both will be very much capable of going faster.
Harlem running out wide as he comes out of turn 15. He'll drop to the line, a 128 flat on the softs. Brummy.
Yep.
That's a 28.398 on soft compound tires, Unicorn. That might just stand on softs. Aliens. 29.935. He comes through in the Williams, setting a time. Also on the soft compound tires.
28.3. I don't know how well that's going to stack up against some of these mediums. It's a first run. It's a solid banker lap for the Alpha Tauri. If he's going to go out on mediums, then he's got a lot of faith in his pace to, beat that time, because it's a pretty hard time to beat on the medium compound tires. But we'll see what everyone else can do. I think there are a few drivers who might be just capable of beating that on the medium tires. We'll have to wait and see. But
one thing to talk about here, we know for certain that these drivers, they get one set of medium compound tires for the qualifying session here, Unicorn, and Hurricane's just gone ahead and used his.
It's not a good time either. A 32.1 is not where you want to be. And he's using that tire, like you said. I wouldn't be surprised if he has to go to the softs now. Otherwise, it's going to be far down this grid for him.
It's a very unique situation, to say the least.
They are the mediums. He can go again. He is saving ERS, and he hasn't got a fuel light on.
Here comes
so
Liam.
He can go again.
Liam's going to run this through the line. It is going to be good for the front row alongside Brahmi. It's a 29.171, also on the soft compound tire, significantly off the rear of his teammate by just shy of 0.8.
Again, that gives me an impression of a slightly dropped lap. I think he could beat that on the mediums. Darian Alfie, a 128.9. That's 2 laps old soft, so he's definitely aiming to beat that, whether it be on mediums or softs, because, well, you don't want to start on 2-lap old softs here around the front. Hurricane going really slowly, letting people by, but doesn't seem to be wanting to accelerate too much, and it does look like he's gearing up to go round. He's not going round again.
Well, we'll just have to see what happens here with him long term then. That is very interesting to get out that early on the mediums. Not too much action happening on circuit. We have the Alfa Romeos having a little bit of a... Well, they're out on a cruise, it would appear. The 2 Alfa Romeos, they're just getting some practice runs in on these soft compound tires. They've got themselves into the top 10 at the moment. But, of course, there are 11 drivers on this grid yet to set times.
Yeah, it's just a waiting game. They're all waiting for that. When we get down to around 4 minutes 30, that's when that timing tower is going to light up. All of those pit words are going to change to outlap. They're all going to change to mediums, I think, and we're going to see everyone just shoot out a bit late. I'm surprised more people aren't doing just a little bit of soft running, because a lot of times it just gets you in the rhythm. I think that's what Crampy, that's what Scars are doing here in these Alfa Romeos. They're just going around the track, like you said. They're not pushing. They're not, aiming to be the fastest right now. But what they are doing, they're just getting those lines, ingrained in them, that muscle memory. They're reawakening themselves to, what they've done in practice, because that's how you want to be doing things. And you want to be as ready as you can for when you get one shot qualifying. That's basically what everyone's gearing themselves up for here, particularly those who haven't put a banker lap in. So whilst Crampies and Scars, they may not be brilliant times, if they did invalidate their medium run, they'd still have a time on the board to show for themselves.
Oh, I have a funny feeling we might see both of them come in here. Oh, they're actually staying out again. So they're just really trying to get a feel. And why not?
Doing a tire wear run. Yeah,
they're going for soft. They're doing a soft. They're checking the degradation on the softs for the race.
They are just lapping around the track. I wonder anyone else. We've got a few people coming out. Jones, Pavel, these drivers, they're actually out on the medium tires, and Pavel's about to start his flyer, it would seem. He's coming through turn 14, reserving today in place.
Harlem. is actively flying. He's just come through 5 and 6, and we'll see what the Renault is able to do. Of course, home race for the Renault constructor.
Yeah, I'm on board with Pavel as well, and so far so good for the Mercedes. Nothing untoward for him so far. It's been a smooth sailing sector 1.
Of course, big shout out to everybody in the chat, everyone viewing along for the qualifying. Tell your friends, tell the family. We are racing here in France. 7.5 minutes remaining on the clock as Harlem comes through turn 11.
Still think it's a little early for these medium runs. There's a lot of people coming out right now, maybe just impatience, but giving themselves a little bit of time to set a soft run afterwards if the medium run goes poorly. But right now, still 7 minutes in the session, like you said. That's a lot of time for the track to evolve and get better. Harlem, there he is, a 127.8.
A very nice time from him on the soft compound tire. Provisional pole position for the Renault driver. Azir in the Williams beginning a lap just ahead of him there as he came across the line. Variety of other drivers on the move as Pavel will come to the line. You were on board with him. What's it going to be? Well, it's good for fourth on the mediums. A 28.930 Unicorn.
Yeah, not a bad lap at all. Fourth place with the mediums. Neon has had a big slide on his mediums. He's really struggling, actually, Striff. He's not looking like he's got a lot of grip through turns 5 and turn 6. So a little bit of a surprise there, sliding around in the McLaren. He's still going, he's still pushing. But I wasn't expecting to see it as he comes through into turn 8. Very aggressive on the curb. Nicely done from him. He will have gained a little bit of time back there, but he won't be particularly happy with this run, I don't think. And he's dropped it.
Yeah, you heard it. He just instantly gets off everything there. He says, nope. Not feeling this. XTXP on the medium compound tires. He is flying.
Hurricane came back out. He is back out on the mediums.
Yeah, that is the same. Yeah, he is. I was just checking that myself. Right now we are looking at the fitted tires, not the tires that the best laps were set on.
Interesting to see where he lands. These tires, they'll be a lap older, and even the mediums, France is still a bit of a monster on the tires as he comes around the final corner. And to the line, Ferrari. There he goes, P3, just ahead of his teammate at 128.3. And well, we'll see how that one holds up, but it's our best time so far on the mediums. Jake to the line in the Red Bull. What can he do? To 128.3 as well, just 0.02 of a second behind the Ferrari.
It's a very nice time out of that Red Bull. He was hoping for rain. He told me that. Hoping for rain, and I was hoping for rain for him as well. But showing good pace here in the dry conditions, regardless, on those medium compound tires.
Yeah, everyone just sort of waiting a little bit now, and we've got a few drivers. Swifty's invalidated his medium run, and that's not going to help him. His teammate, Jake, a very impressive time from him. Swifty not quite so fortunate, and he's had I think unfortunate is the way to describe Swifty's season so far. He's 8th in the standings, still yet to stand on the podium.
He's been having some very, very heavy lifting drives, I'll say that, and he's come into situations where he's had to make a significant amount of positions, and he's executed. He's as you said, he's 8th in this championship, and it is a tight championship, but not on the podium just yet. Maybe today will be that day. We'll see if he runs around for another lap here.
Well, I really think he has to. It's that or the softs for him, because there's no reason, no sense in coming in unless he's got no fuel. But I imagine he is going to go around again, and not only has he not scored a podium, he's the highest person in the standings right now without a podium. So he's got that to his name, but it's not a trophy he'll want to be lifting. It'll be one he'll want to be lifting on the podium tonight. He is going again in the Red Bull. We're seeing a few more drivers as well. We've got Formula Chris. He's out in a reserve capacity for Racing Point. Hugh Sam as well over at Haas. They're both on flyers right now. Although it looks like he's dropped it. Yeah, he's dropped it. He's invalidated.
Well, those Alfa Romeos on the medium tires, 11 and 10th, respectively, crampy scars. Well, we'll have to see what they are going to do after their little cruise on the softs here in this session, trying to get a feel for circuit conditions. We'll jump on with Chris now, as he'll be coming ahead soon.
Yeah, pretty clean from what I've seen so far at the Racing Point. Well, flying down towards this super fast right-hander of turn 10. So he just passes Hugh Sam there on the inside. Very nice from the Racing Point, just opening that car up as he comes around through turn 12. A little bit of a bit of a snap as well as he catches it, but he does. And he will be able to continue as that there. Will have cost him a few tenths though, as he comes through 14 into 15. Out of the final corner. It's a pretty long run down to the line. Great place to have a photo finish. And it's a 128.8 for Formula Chris, just behind Jake. We'll see where that lands him in the grand scheme of things.
And Swifty now in the Red Bull. He's on the charge and to the line. The time coming from him. He's right on the rear of his teammate. It's a 4-5 finish here thus far for the charging Red Bulls. Jake on an outlap on the same set that he set that time with. So, because they only have that one set, of course. John will be beginning a lap in the Haas. Behind him, I do believe that is going to be either Azir here. Championship leader will be beginning his run on the mediums. We'll follow along with him.
Yeah, Darren Alfie right now, he's in the final sector. I'm just going to see whether Ferrari lands himself in all this. He's low fuel. He put it all on this lap. 44 seconds left in the session. Not a lot of time at all, and you can see that track is a lot busier than it was. Darren Alfie, he improves, but not by a lot, so he will be able to start on the mediums, but he has to hope that it's worth it, because he might not finish in the top 10 here as he gets dropped. I think that was Neon crossing the line. A little bit of toe, I think, coming out of Hennes, but a 128.2, that's more like it on these medium tires. He has really pushed the bar a little bit higher. Swifty invalidated again in the Red Bull.
That's not good for Swifty. Neon right now just letting traffic by. Was looking to see if they'd set up a tow for Henners. Back to Azir, championship leader, coming through turn 11 now.
Yeah, he hasn't got a single lap time on the spot. He's left it till the last second. It's all or nothing for the Williams as he comes through 14. Swings it round into 15. Third gear, very, very close to invalidating on the outside, but he knows where the limits are. That is the sign of a man who's practiced for this one, and it's a 128.6. He's behind Neon, he's behind Hurricane, and those two drivers will be hoping to close the gap to this Williams by the end of this one with a qualifying performance like that. By no means bad, but when you're leading the championship by over 20 points, you want to be collecting 25 at the end of every race.
Max
Teammate
O'Connor.
Alien.
Well, Max to the line, he crosses 28.9. As he said, Alien's now out of 15.
Yeah, what's it going to be for the other Williams? And no improvement from him. 129.267 is best. XTXP on the softs. The Renault driver, his teammate currently reserving Harlem on pole position. He's on the softs as well, the Renault. They got a nice little strategy going on here, but how well will it last into the race?
Well, it's a big gamble, I find, to go onto the softs here with a grid so heavy of medium runners. They're really, really looking for a potential safety car on a circuit where there is, well, not lots of potential for a safety car. XTXP now to the line. What's it going to be? It's P3. the Renaults around home, 1-3 for them. Harlem on pole position here at 27.829 for him. And I imagine he will be very happy with that. Azir will not be improving, and I don't know if we'll see Pavel improve. Actually, he is charging out of turn 15. What will the Mercedes do? He drops it at the line, and it will be a non-improvement.
I think he realized that he was going a little too fast there, and he would have flung himself into the top 10, and he wants to start on those mediums. So that just goes to show how much of a desire there is to start on that medium qualifier. He just chose to just start 16th over what would have been about P8, I think. So that's the importance of starting on the mediums to these drivers. The Mercedes 15th, 16th, not the best qualifying ever, but we'll see what they can do from that position in the race. Let's have a look then. Harlem is the driver who sits on the pole position in the Renault. Bromy starts alongside him on the front row. The other Renault at their home race, XTXP, he starts in third, and it's his home race as well. Neon in fourth place, the Dutch driver looking to close the gap to Hurricane and Azir in the standings. Speaking of Hurricane, he is fifth, but he's got a 5 place grid penalty, so he will be starting 10th in this race. Jake in sixth, Scar 7th, Swifty 8th, Azir 9th, Jones in 10th, but not quite sure what Hurricane picked up that 5 place grid penalty for, but he's going to feel it at the start of this one.
Definitely. I'll have to review that later on. And the drivers in the chat, they were explaining how dark and gloomy it was going to be for this race. I didn't realize it was going to be that dark. Welcome to Paul Ricard, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Stryfium from Canada. Commentating with me, of course, is Unicorn from the UK. And big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. Check them out via the link, of course, in the chat and the panels down below on their website for some amazing sim racing gear and rigs. Welcome to round 10 of Tier 2. It is going to be a fun time. And I have to say, with these conditions, hey, maybe we'll get that safety car weather dynamic. We'll get the rain. It's pretty doom and gloom right now, Unicorn.
Yeah, this when I hear cloudy, around France, I'm like, yeah, maybe, a little light cloud. We'll still see the sun. There is no sun here. This is pure cloud coverage. This is, completely dark. And like you said, I honestly thought, the chat might have been lying to us. They played a little bit of a prank on us because they know how much we love the rain. Because I thought it was going to rain with this much cloud coverage. Safety cars, if we get one, get two, depending on how long they last, I think we could really see some rain at the end of this one. They need to be careful.
Look at that tire split. Top 3 on softs, 4 through 10 mediums, and then it's deadlocked hards through the back of this grid, which is just interesting to see. That is a wow. All drivers 11 through 20 on the hard compound tire, 10 through 4 on the mediums, and then the top 3 on softs. That is absolutely unique, and these Renaults with Bromy there in the AlphaTauri. Well, I imagine XTXP wanting to make short work of that AlphaTauri. Renaults lead the way, but these tires, they're going to burn out quick.
Yeah, the softs, they do not last. The hards, well, they do last a little bit longer than everything else. They got about 20 laps of life in them. The problem is they are that little bit slower, as always. And the thing is, if I was, Hennas or Aliens, I might have chucked a set of mediums on there today, because yesterday we saw just a few drivers at the back. If you lose DRS around a track with such a huge back straight, turn 7 through it, the DRS there is so powerful that if you lose out, if there's an issue that separates the grid, it can really slow you down, and you could struggle to get back into this race if you're that far down. So starting on the mediums from the back is not always a bad thing, so you can just claw your way up through the hards, but we'll have to see how it goes for these guys. If I was, in 11th as well, I would probably have gone for the mediums, but the hard medium is a really powerful one-stop. The medium hards, obviously, soft hards, not such a good strategy, but depending on how much of a gap you get at the start of this race, that is what these two Renaults and the AlphaTauri of Bromley splitting them will be aiming to do all on this race start. It all boils down to when those 5 red lights go out, Striff.
Well, considering you are a Tier 3 driver for Renault Unicorn, why don't you take us away here in Paul Ricard?
Well, it would be my pleasure. I think we're going to get a little bit of a decent issue with the lights. The car's all loading in. We do have 3, 4, 5 red lights here. The driver's not revving. No, there we go. We can see everyone waiting patiently. The revs are going out, and there we go. We are away for Paul Ricard. Bromley is at an excellent start compared to Harlem, who's sort of squeezing him. He wants to be on the outside line. Neon is already past XTXP. This is not what you want if you're starting on the sauce, to be overtaken by a medium runner. Already the McLaren up into P3. The 2 Red Bulls behind them. They've got the Williams of Azir dancing all over the back of Swifty. Can he find a way through in this opening lap on the Red Bull driver? Swifty defending. Jake is going to be thanking him big time for this. He's dancing all over that Red Bull gearbox, but no way past. And we've got a full course save. It's a VSC. Not quite sure what it's for. Probably some debris somewhere on track.
Well, it looks like there's been an issue here in the backfield right now. Scars missing, I think, a front right end plate. Formula Chris has also taken a little bit of damage on the front left. Checking for damage on other cars right now. This VSC, as a matter of debris on track, I do believe. Coming through turns 5 and 6. What a race start this has been, though. Bromley still holding well onto that second position, but Neon dispatching XTXP already for the podium paying positions here early. We'll see what everyone's able to do with this VSC. Of course, everyone having to keep that pace to the delta, and if you exceed it, well, you're going to be coming into the pit lane for a little bit of a hey, how you going drive-through penalty.
A drive-through penalty, it cripples a driver's race. You do not want to be picking one. It's so avoidable as well, but at the same time, you've got to be launching yourself off of this start. And, well, it looks like everyone has done just that. Everyone is away safely. No drive-throughs to be mentioning. We've got Hurricane past us here. These two championship rivals, and the Ferrari is not hanging around. Out of the final corner, he is ahead of the Williams. Azir trying to burn some ERS off, but he's not got the pace to keep up with that Scuderia. And Hurricane breezes through into P7. A very nice restart for him. 2 drivers into the pit lane further down the grid, but as it stands, Hurricane on a real charge. He's looking at Swifty now. He's just 3 tenths behind the Red Bull. But so far, so good. And there's a big, big train. No one's really broken away. And, well, this is not good news for the soft runners.
Well, a lot of drivers into the pit lane. Max O'Connor, Scars, Chris, Liam. Everybody's in. They're all onto the medium compound tires. Azir now with another run, it would appear, on the Ferrari as we come out into the 8-9 chicane down the long straight. Oh, a little bit of a tap, a little bit of contact between these two. It's tight racing through 8-9. The Ferrari still holding on to 7th position for the time being. Azir now heavily exposed to the racing point behind. Jones on a charge. Is he going to get this Williams? We're on the way into turn 10 right now. The racing point on the inside gets the move done. Will Azir have an answer through 11?
Well, these guys, they're battling hard, and it's costing them time. They're going to separate this grid, and no one behind them is going to be thanking them for this, because it's going to cost everyone here with them battling like this. But Jones, he'll be happy. He took advantage of that situation very, very nicely. Hurricane, just very nice defense. Azir super late on the brakes, and that cost him a bit too much speed. Then he got a little bit of a light tap, left the track, and just lost so much time. You saw the exit speed from Jones just really pull him through. Now, we'll see, can anyone take advantage down this start-finish straight? Still no DRS, of course. We should get it in just a few moments, but as it stands, no one gets DRS down that start-finish straight.
Well, it's a big train right now, and it's really going to come down to utilization of battery, tire management, risk-taking in this race. Drivers having to, really push to get positions as this train is deadlocked, seemingly, all the way down to 15th position, where Husam and Aliens, they're just dancing out of the DRS.
Well, Azir wants revenge. DRS is enabled for both drivers, but it's not going to do much against a brilliant run like the one the Spaniards got there up the inside.
Oh!
Failed again.
Well, Jones isn't having it. Jones wasn't having it through 8-9, and what a defense, but Azir with a solid exit is going to get 8 through into 10. But wow, what battling we're seeing between these two. Crampy.
Yeah, he's used a lot of battery though, Striff.
Well, that's right. They got to watch it because they have Crampy on these hards behind them so tight.
Yeah, he's using a lot of battery early on. That could leave him very, very vulnerable if he's not careful later in this race. And you can see now the biggest problem he's got. 1.2 seconds to Hurricane ahead. There is no DRS available to this Williams, and that could cost him big time. He knows it as well. He's using ERS to try and stay there. But look at that gap. It's climbing. DRS, this is what I'm saying. It's so powerful. And that gap is a little bit higher up the grid than I was expecting it to form. There's now two sides to this train, and Azir is the conductor of one of them.
Hold the phone. Brahmi on the inside of Harlem. XTXP going for a move on the inside of Neon. It looks like Brahmi's had an issue with Harlem. He has come round. He is dropping like a stone through this grid. I can't even catch him with the controls for the spectator. Very dangerous. Nearly a big collision there involving aliens as well. Very unfortunate there. XTXP is now into third position. He was looking at Neon very tight, but it has exposed him. Well, what's happened here? Whoa!
Well, Neon's car just stopped.
Where's his car gone?
Neon. Well, his car's now in 9th place. He's
what has just happened?
And John, but his car just stopped dead on circuit. I don't know what's happening. It's now side by side with Crampy going down into turn 10. Rain in 15 minutes. But what is going on in this lobby?
I have no words, George. I've got no words.
That car just went 0 to 100 or 100 to 0 real quick, because if I was one of those other drivers, I would have been scared for my life, because that car just stopped the Red Bulls. They're taking brilliant profit of this. They're now realistically looking at strategy net 1 and 2, and well, Hurricane behind them in P3. Azir still out of DRS range, but Neon, he's had some real bad luck, and he will not be happy that his race has just been taken down in such a sense. But well, he's in P8. He's still got a good chance here. He needs to soldier on and keep his head down.
It's early, and I'll tell you something, Unicorn, and some of the engineers are in the chat saying that the drivers are being made aware that rain is on the horizon. So that might be something to think about here. We're looking at two Renaults leading the French Grand Prix right now on lap 5 with two charging bulls right behind them. Quite an interesting dynamic, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, if this was real life F1, I would love to see the drama between Cyril and Christian Horner, but as it stands, it's Harlem XTXP versus Jake and Swifty, the softs. They will not be feeling good at this stage of the race. They can't double stack though, and it looks like XTXP wants a little bit of priority. He's pushing a little bit to try and find his teammate. Both Renaults very low on ERS, both under 30, and he's right on the gearbox of his teammate. XTXP wants
Neon
this win around France.
Just behind them, Neon and Jones are exchanging. Neon on the inside of turn 11. A little bit of a squeeze coming out of Neon here, with Jones having to run a bit off track here. But he does get that move done into 7th position. Crampy still on these hards behind. Just rubbing his hands together, waiting for all of these drivers to come through. Azir has just gone quite deep as we come into turn 15. And Neon is going to catch him very quickly, making mistakes like that. XTXP Harlem, yeah, that big exchange between teammates into turn 1 here.
Yeah, that was... Well, I was about to say it looked like Team Honors, but it might look like Harlem's going to look around the outside down into turn 3. He's right there on his teammate, and this battling, look how close 1 through 5 is right now. There is nothing between them, and it's brought Azir right back into it. Everyone now has DRS on absolutely everyone, down to Brommy in 15th place, and even he's just dancing on that 1 second window. Here goes Jake on Harlem, the Red Bull finally. The soft tires have really died out here. Can Swifty find it as well? The Renault is a sitting duck to the DRS up the inside. Jake is into P2. Swifty is into P3. Harlem, though, not having any of it. Looks back. Swifty's off the track. He's rejoined just ahead of the Renault. But here comes Hurricane past Harlem as well. He's now side by side with Swifty. Into P3 he goes. And Swifty drops down a position. I think he might have let Harlem by there. He didn't like the overtake off track. I'm not sure if that was deliberate or not, but here we go. He's looking at the inside now on the Renault. He's not going to get the exit though. The traction is all on that outside. Harlem gives him a little squeeze, almost spins the Red Bull driver. A little tap from the rear from Swifty, and these guys are so tightly knit. Swifty doesn't want to lose another position to
Neon
a guy.
Neon on the inside of his ear. is Azir. Oh, there's debris. That's the front left end plate of the McLaren. He's lost the front left end plate of... Oh, no. No, that is not what the McLarens needed in this one. He got himself into 5th position. He's got damage now after that desync error, and that is just not what Neon needed here.
Neon's gonna be fuming right now. He needs to just try and keep his head, you know, as level as he can, but it's gonna be hard. You can see him just dropping back a little bit on this pace. He's doing well with that damage, but it's still damage nonetheless. DRS will hopefully keep him in this one for a little while longer until that pit window. He needs to limp that car back to the pit lane in about 4 or 5 laps time. I should think Swifty now. Does he have the pace to get Harlem this time down into turn 1? You can see XTXP came into the pit lane last lap. There was a lot of action going on. We missed it, but he is in. The Renault driver onto medium tires. Interesting from him, not going for hards to the end. Swifty does pick off Harlem. They're side by side coming out of turn 9 down to turn 10, and Swifty well and truly ahead. But they've lost DRS to Jake and Hurricane ahead. Maybe a little bit of team dynamic. Maybe Jake can push Hurricane back into Swifty, but Hurricane, he's looking hungry, and Jake can't really afford to be too playful with him, and just needs to focus on keeping lead of this race. But Swifty back within DRS range now, really burning that ERS, really pushing, and it's going to cost him later in this race, but I think DRS is just too important to avoid.
Jake, Hurricane locked in at the front end of this grid right now on these medium compound tires. Swifty doing well right now to hold with this fight. Neon, Harlem exchange, and Azir up the inside into turn 1. Ooh, does he get him here? It's clean, and Azir with a smooth move gets Harlem. Jones now, it's his turn on the inside of turn 3. Back through as we come through turns 4.
Harlem's round. He's collected Crampy.
Oh.
Crampy can avoid the Renault. Crampy's lost the left end plate. He's now side by side with Husam. But I don't know why Harlem didn't come into the pits. He's down with his teammate now anyway because of the tire wear. He just spun, didn't have the pace, but very unfortunate for him. But Crampy as well, so unlucky for the Alfa Romeo driver. He was on for a really nice looking race.
That was a very interesting situation, to say the least. A very unique scenario. Hurricane, Jake, Swifty all in very close proximity. Neon 1.6 on the rear of them, and I do believe that gap is going to continue to grow with that damage on the front end. Crampy, Husam exchanging as we come through turn 10. Crampy looking to the inside for a switchback opportunity into turn 11, but Husam is going to hold us for the moment. Crampy with some damage on the front left of that wing. I do believe Husam, no damage as far as the eye can tell.
Drift, credit where credit's due. Swifty's just had an absolutely monster lap. He was just fighting to be within DRS range of Hurricane. Now he's fighting almost for the position with this DRS. He's kept himself sort of in this one, and he's actually pulled out DRS to Neon behind. Obviously, the McLaren is sporting that damage, but Swifty right on the rear of these guys now, and he'll be happy that he has clawed himself back, and it might be that first podium of the season, but it's too early to call it yet, and he's got a lot of work to put in to achieve it, but he is all over the rear of the Ferrari as it stands, and he'll be looking to stay there for the remainder of the race and try and get past as well before the end of it.
Well, I certainly hope you are not the one to curse Swifty as the commentator for this one, because I do know him, and he'll come after you, Unicorn. He'll come after you.
Well, like you said, fingers crossed, we're all good, but yeah, strong drive so far from him. He just needs to keep up this form, keep his pace, and he's been doing very well as Zir on the rear of Neon. No damage on the Williams, and well, that McLaren is injured. He'll be going a little bit slower as Zir. He's on for a nice lap for his personal best of the session, and you can just see, biding his time behind the McLaren, the ERS is well and truly in the Williams' favor. But Neon's doing very well considering the damage. It's just costing him a little bit of time. He doesn't want it to cost him positions. Crampy picks off Formula Chris down before turn 8. He came in for fresh mediums. He's going to go for a 2-stop, it would seem. Presumably just waiting on that rain. Swifty, it's Neon into the pit lane.
Yeah, he's done with the tire and the wing. He can't. He's just dropping. Hurricane holding very well with Jake right now. Both of these drivers keeping with Swifty. Azir, 1.8 seconds now. He has to bring down this gap. Jones starting to drop just a touch. Just a touch, which could bring Jean into good proximity here.
Neon, he's coming to Hards for Hards, and well, this is a bold strategy. Rain still apparently 10 to 15 minutes away on the horizon. 17 laps left. You know, the lap around here, it's well over a minute, so there's still possibility that we see it, you know, after lap 20. But Hards to the end for Neon. He thinks he can go without the... Well, who is that? It's a William. Azir's off.
What's happened to Azir? The safety car is
It's missing a wing.
The safety car has been deployed on lap 10.
He has no front wing on that Williams. And this is brilliant news for Jake, Hurricane, Swifty, and Jones. These guys are going to be clapping their hands, cheering as hard as they can, because that is perfect timing for them. Hards to the end now. They have to come into this pit lane. Surely this is a golden opportunity.
Neon just undercut this safety car. But I don't know if he has enough of a gap to... I don't know if he's going to be able to really net anything here because of the delta.
Jones, 5-second penalty.
Oh, you see, that's what's... Everyone, it's a safety car. The last thing you want to be doing is rushing into the pit lane.
Let's see Neon now.
This is crucial for Neon. This might just be exactly what he needed. Exactly what he needed.
XTXP.
XTXP, well, he's going to move. Where's he going to land here?
4th.
Oh, he's laughing.
He's right back in.
He is
right back into the thick of it.
Absolutely laughing right now. And I have to tell you,
especially if it rains.
This is not far different from how things landed for XTXP in France last season. He started in a very, very unique position in that race. He was out of the points, if I'm not mistaken, when he started that race. He collected a win. We'll see if he's able to make something happen here. I think everybody wants to see the fireworks for the Renaults.
Well, a French driver winning the French Grand Prix in a French car.
Yeah, I'd say that's
that's the thing of fairy tales, Striff. And, well, he's been gifted a big opportunity here. If rain comes at the end, these medium tires that he's going to have to pit off, it won't be too big of a deal. The problem he has, though, is if it's, you know, coming towards the end of it where he needs to get off the mediums, go onto the soft if the rain's not going to come.
Well, with the safety car, I think the rain is
at the right time.
If that safety car, the safety car is now prolonged this race. We might see rain at the sharp end, like at the end of this race. We just might see it, you know, throw a curveball. Who knows? My hands are together hoping for it. But this race has just been completely shaken down. Completely shuffled. Let's take a look at the position changes here under safety car. Pavel, 13, 14 positions respectively, yet to come in. Jake up 2 positions. XTXP started this race in 3rd, but he is in 4th with a very good set of tires. Jones up 4 positions, Hurricane as well, Jean as well, all up 4 positions. We have Swifty down 1, Neon down 5. Liam is coming into the pit lane. Zir down 2 positions, Brahmi down 9 positions. Crampy is actually going to start this safety car restart where he started this race. He hasn't moved anywhere.
Well, he had that unfortunate incident with the Renault of Harlem, who was just suffering from worn tires, getting overtaken, spun, collected Crampy. Crampy now, a little bit more hope on the horizon for him. Again, he's another guy who might benefit a lot from the rain if it comes at the end and forces everyone to pit, because those tires, they won't make it to the end. So it's a tricky scenario for these guys. So we'll have to see how everything pans out towards the end of it. But right now, Jake, he's looking good. XTXP, we'll have to see. Jones, well, he would be looking good, but he's got that 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is going to really struggle for, you know, everyone, for him there, Racing Point as a whole, because Formula Chris reserving all the way down the bottom. What's happening between Henners and Sam. These guys are exchanging under the safety car. Looks like they've got everything sorted out. I think Sam just very aggressively warming those tires, trying to keep some heat in those fresh mediums. But while we're under safety car conditions, it's a brilliant time to thank everyone for watching along here. It's MRL France Tier 2. We'll be back again tomorrow. Tier 1, same time, safety cars in this lap. And also a big shout out to our partners, Next Level Racing. If you're looking for any sim racing rigs, they've got stuff all the way from the beginners all the way up to the experience level stuff. So be sure to check them out in the link in the chat or the panels down below. It'd really help us out, and they're doing brilliant things for the sim racing community. But Striff, Darian and Pavel at the front of this grid, 11 lap hold hards. They've got a mighty job ahead of them to hold everyone back.
They do, for sure. Everyone in the chat, you know, what do we think? Do you think we might see another safety car? I have a saying, you know, Unicorn. Safety cars, they like to cause safety cars.
I want to know if Darian's going to help Hurricane here, because he's in a position to do so. He could really... Jones just spun on the safety car!
Oh, no. That is not good. There's a car off on track here. He's going to get things back going. The racing points are not going to be happy about this, and we're going to be off racing now as Pavel, unfortunately with a little bit of a rev glitch, is going to hunt down Darian almost instantly here. Oh, he had a snap to the inside. Thought better of it. Very unfortunate luck for Jones in that racing point. Darian, Pavel, Jake, your top three right now. XTXP 1.5 off the rear of these three. That's not the restart that he wanted to have on these medium compound tires. He has Hurricane in that Ferrari with the fresher hards coming in his rearview mirror.
Yeah, this, you can see the spin there has cost everyone else on the grid. You can see XTXP 1.1 seconds through not really any fault of his own.
Sam charging. He's looking for Crampy into the 8-9 chicane. Sam wheel to wheel with the Alfa Romeo on the inside. Does Crampy have it to defend this? No, he doesn't. Sam with a clean move.
Hurricane, he's side by side with XTXP coming down into turn 10. The Ferrari is looking for some early positions. They both tapped. Hurricane is around. He is sliding off into the off track, and Hurricane is going to drop like a stone. His championship charge really stinted. He got an opportunity when Azir lost his front wing, but Azir now up into P8. Neon ahead of him. He's sliding all over the place, but he does have a full front wing right now. These two really just gifted an opportunity to extend their gaps to Hurricane. Neon an opportunity to overtake as well in the standings. Jean on XTXP. Those mediums are a little fresher, and well, he's taking benefit of not only that, but ERS as well. Down into turn 1, well and truly ahead of the Renault at his home Grand Prix.
And Swifty right behind them with a good set of rubber to the end of this race right now. As long as he's able to hold them, this will be good for him. He'll want to try and get ahead of XTXP to keep with Jean as best he can. Neon on the rear of them, of course. Considering how his race has gone, he has a big axe to grind right now.
Yeah, now just everyone, when DRS gets re-enabled, they'll be locked in that train again, and we'll have to wait for that to happen. We'll see if Jean, he's closed up to Jake. Sam, he's on another move, same corner.
Same corner.
A 3-second penalty though.
Yeah, big chunk, I think, into the inside of turn 8 there for him. And Swifty right now under threat from the McLaren still. Neon looking to that inside, a little bit of a wave over the curbing there. Be fortunate if he didn't take a warning for that. Rain coming through over in the chat. Everyone coming to say that the rain is imminent, Unicorn, and well, I think we'd all love to see it after a very dynamic race already.
Yeah, well, it would throw a huge strategic spanner in the works. We're just over halfway through, and I think, is it raining now? It is.
It has come. It is raining in the pit lane. It is raining coming down the pit straight, and the DRS has been enabled on this lap. The DRS has been enabled. So perhaps when that is disabled, we'll see some switches coming out of these drivers, but there is rain coming down here in Paul Ricard, ladies and gentlemen.
And, well, Darian and Pavel have managed to hold on to the lead. Neither one got overtaken on the restart. Doesn't mean it won't happen. DRS now. Jake probably going to try and take full advantage of this, and you can see it there, ERS, and now the rear wing pulls open. Pavel does have it on the Ferrari ahead, but Jake really pushing for the position. Pavel's going for it on Darian. Jake might not find space. He has to back out.
Yeah,
and Pavel picks up.
Oh,
but Jake's going around the outside of Darian Alfie. What a move. He's not quite got the exit, but he does have ERS in his favor. But it might not be enough. He's going to try it around the outside of 10 now. The Red Bull looking around the outside of the Ferrari. Darian Alfie.
Oh, there's contact.
He's out.
No.
He's out of the race.
Darian's out of the race. Oh my. Welcome to France, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have a lot of words, just a big smile, because this is what you like to see. It is Formula One here for MRL, and that is a huge development. The rain is coming down. The safety car has been deployed, and Darian Alfie has had contact with the Red Bull, resulting in a terminal retirement.
Oh, who's them place just flown off in the pit lane? I think Neon's. Because XSP's picked up a 5-second penalty, which he's about to serve, I think. I don't know if it's going to let him, because he just got it. But Neon just lost an end plate coming into the pit lane. He's double stacking his teammate Hennes. This is going to cost McLaren big time. And I want to know, Swifty, he's leading the charge on the people who didn't come in. This track is not wet yet, Striv. And tyre temps around here is difficult. I don't know if Intus was the right call. I know it's a pit stop on the safety car, but I don't know if it's the right call.
It's so early.
In the rain.
It is so early, but the safety car presenting such a unique opportunity. Everybody going for the gamble. There is only 8 drivers on this grid remaining with these dry compound tires. 9 all the way down to 19th position, where Henners is now sitting, are on these intermediate compound tires. I am awesome. I am in awe. What a race. What a race this has been. What a developing race this has been.
Well, we've almost reversed the tire strategy. We started this race with 3 people on the softs, 7 people on the mediums, and the rest of the grid on the hards. We've now got a big stack of intermediates at the bottom. We've got a few people on the hards in the top 10, and we've got 3 people on another compound. That's the mediums, Crampy, Aliens, and Liam. And there's not even any spray on these cars, Striff. Nothing is being kicked up yet. The track still very dry. The problem is here, we won't get the DRS being disabled because it's not enabled at the moment, obviously, on the safety car. So we'll have to wait and see how that one plays out. But at the moment, I still think the soft tires, or the slick tires, sorry, will be the fastest out on track. I don't think it's time for the intermediates. And the tire temps of those on that Greenwald tire, they might struggle.
This is... I'm trying to think of what these strategies are going to play out like right now for these dry runners versus the inner runners at the end of this race. Oh, wow. Wow. I will say one thing, though. I was talking to Jake before the race. I think I brought it up in the quali, if not early in the race, how he really likes the wet weather here. I think we're going to see him. He told me if there's wet weather in any capacity, full wet, wet through the race, he's winning. So Jake in that Red Bull, definitely a driver to keep our eyes on here as the conditions get slick.
That's the question, though. How heavy is this rain going to get? And how wet is this track going to get? Because right now, we've said it before, it's dry. I think the safety car is going to come in on this lap. And the gap I'm going to keep my eye on, rather than the gap between the leaders. Obviously, that's very interesting. We've got these guys still on the dry compounds. But Pavel and Scars, that is a gap we need to watch, because right now, I think these intermediates, they're not going to be anywhere near the pace. I don't think they've got it. And by the time you get to a stage where the race is wet enough, they're going to be heated, overheated. Tire wear is going to be a problem. And, well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But I think intermediates are the wrong tires to be on at the moment.
Well, as soon as we have our restart, it's going to be a very clear indicator as to what tires these drivers should be on. Safety car coming in this lap.
This is going to be one hell of a restart. The final 10 laps of this race are going to be 10 laps to remember. That I am sure of. For what reasons? Well, that's something I'm unsure of. Swifty in lead of things in the Red Bull, and he's been working hard for it. They've got both strategies covered. Jake in 11th on the inters. Swifty in lead of things on the hards, and or both tire, depending on the conditions. One could go to the end. One will very much struggle.
Well, Swifty, Azir, Crampy, your top three right now. Dry compound tires for them as well. Aliens behind, Hurricane, Max O'Connor. We have Liam and Scars all on these dry compound tires as Swifty, out of turn 15, has put the throttle down, and he is hammering out on this exit to restart this race. Hurricane. Oh, it's tight into turn 1 already. Hurricane up the inside. Slick conditions, very daring here from him. He's going to get that move done. Max O'Connor is going to mug the Williams as well.
Well, overtakes going on for the intermediate runners as well. John picks off Pavel. But look at that gap. 3.1 seconds. This goes on for too much longer, and the guys on the slick compound tires, they're going to extend the pit stop to these guys on the inters. The safety car, it's been a false friend. It's really not helped these guys at all. The pit stop was far from free. Sam picks off Formula Chris, but Formula Chris is going to look to come back. ERS down towards turn 8 now. The Racing Point side by side with the Haas driver. Down into the corner they come. Formula Chris still ahead, and he's picked off P16. He's regained that position for the time being.
Well, this is a huge gamble on these intermediate compound tires, because until it is time for the intermediates, these tires are going to be burning up. They're going to be degrading at a rapid rate. XTXP, Neon, Renault versus McLaren here coming through turn 11. Things are tight. Less than half a second the gap between these two. We're still getting the fighting we want to see between everybody right now. There's fighting amongst the intermediate compound running drivers, and there's fighting amongst the dry compound running drivers. Hurricane still looking for podium positions here as Crampy is in third. XTXP, well, what's happened here? Drivers on the way into the pit lane getting off of these intermediate compound tires. Pavel's in, Chris is in.
Now this is interesting, because how long is this rain going to stick around for? We can't see the forecast, you know, neither can the drivers. They can only hear it through the in-game radio system. And, well, right now, if the rain's persisting at this level, I think the drivers might just be able to squeeze it to the end. Because look at the time. It says 9.7 seconds between Jean and Scars, but that's slightly misleading because Scars is 3 seconds off the rest of this pack. So realistically, we're looking about 14 seconds. These intermediates have dropped in the space of 1.5 laps. It's huge, the amount of times these guys are losing. And there's gap forming even in, you know, between Max O'Connor and Hurricane here. So anyone who pitted for the intermediates, I think in my mind, they've lost any chance for a win.
Hold the phone, Jake, right now. On the straight into the 8-9. He was looking at Neon, not able to get the move. Bromy gets ahead of him into 12th position. Everyone fighting on those intermediate compound tires now, and there's been an issue. Harlem has had an issue. No visible damage on that front end.
He's missing. Oh, he's not.
Yellow flag is up, but yeah, he's all right. But he's lost a significant amount of position.
DRS re-enabled by the stewards.
Yeah, that's such a sign, and we have another yellow flag coming up here. Neon is spun. It would appear Neon is spun in the McLaren. No damage on that car. What a gamble it was for these inners, and I have to say, I don't think it was the right gamble. Jake in, Neon, of course, he's coming in after. I think I didn't catch it as it happened, so I don't know if it was a spin or if there was contact of any capacity. Aliens looking at Max O'Connor for a supercharged move. He's going to get him for 5th position coming into the 8-9.
Yeah, these guys just battling away, normal, and I wonder if they know what's going on behind them, because look at the track map, Striff. It's almost like we're running a multi-class race here. There is 21.3 seconds between Jean and Scars now. The time difference is absolutely incredible. And, well, I think even with the pits to the fresh tires, it's too late. It's too late. It's all over for these guys who pitted under the safety car.
What a race this has been. Such confusion. XTXP wheel to wheel with Jean right now as we come out of turn 9. Round the outside for XTXP, getting that 9th position. Unless he might have been defending here. I'm not entirely sure what the situation has been between these two as we've been looking at these dry runners taking advantage of the conditions.
Yeah, someone who is a dry runner I'm looking at right now, Crampy. He's got a lot of pressure from behind on in Hurricane. He's also trying to put a bit of pressure on Azir, but his tires 12 laps. Oh, but they're mediums. I think they can make it to this race with a bit of time management, but he needs to be careful with this battle that he's getting himself involved with. He's attacking, he's defending, and those tires, they need to make it to the end, and it's going to be difficult to get that Alfa Romeo, to the end of this one with any sort of speed, but he can't really do much about it right now. Hurricane, let's carry a speed out of the corner. A brilliant run down the inside, looking for it into turn 8. A little later on the brakes goes the Alfa Romeo, and he's holding it through around 9. Cuts off the Ferrari, and a brilliant bit of defending from Crampy, but he's had a big issue. He's caught it. Very, very nicely done for him to avoid going into that wall. It's already taken a few victims tonight, but Crampy manages to hold on to P4. There are penalties ahead of him, and he needs to keep his head down and manage these tires.
Formula Chris and Hugh Sam, they've had an issue 5 and 6, and I think that, well, it's really dark here, and coming through 5 and 6, it makes me feel like it is time for the intermediate compound tires. But given how we've been seeing the medium runners just fly by these drivers still on the inners, it is so crazy to see the pace right now on these dry compound tires. You look at XTXP, what a gamble from him on those tires, staying out still.
It's not wet enough for the intermediate tires, I can tell you that right now. These guys, there's 2 drivers still on them, Hugh Sam and XTXP you just mentioned, and they're losing time. It's really not the right call. And XTXP, he'll be gutted with himself. He might have been able to claw back that podium around his home race, Strift, but he made the wrong call along with a lot of other people. And, well, he'll be kicking himself. I think a lot of drivers, they might not want to watch this one back because, well, Jake passing Hugh Sam is all the information you need. The last two guys to get off of the intermediates, Hugh Sam, XTXP, they left it a long time. They held out hope, but it was hope that really hasn't come into much. Jean has had an issue. Fingers crossed he can get back in here.
Neon setting the fastest lap of this campaign, a 1:31.138 from him. Currently sitting in 13th position, 6.8 seconds the gap to P12. That point only comes through for them if it is a top 10 finish.
Well, the gap, I think 30 seconds is just too much for a lot of these drivers. It's just such a huge, monumental. It's something I don't think I've ever seen before in a race. I don't think in the time we've commentated together, Striff, we've never seen anything quite like this.
Well, this has been extremely unique in the sense that nobody knew what the best tire was to be on there. I think that, well, the guys that stayed on dries could have just been in this. They could have had the weather go against them just the same. I think it was a big gamble. The safety car was what really, really kind of rolled the dice for a lot of the drivers.
I think, yeah, that safety car, it lures people in. They think, safety car pits up this year. It's Swifty. Swifty's lost lead of this race this year now. But what a race it's been from him. From having no front wing to getting back into the lead of things. Well, that's the way to do it. He's got no penalties compared to the two guys behind him as well. So very, very nice driving from the Spaniard. We've got a yellow flag. It's an AlphaTauri. It's Brommy.
Well, I'm not entirely sure what's happened to him. I don't know if there is any damage on that front end. Doesn't appear that there is.
Yeah, just a spin. I think, for the AlphaTauri. But yeah, go back to the tires and, you know, that safety car. I think it lured people in, and once you see people coming in, you second guess yourself, like, should I be doing the same? You cover their strategy, and it's cost a lot of people here, big time, and that's just the way it goes. And there's a lot of people who will be very disappointed about this. It's a big learning lesson. A safety car pit stop is not always the best course of action. So there it is. And these guys who stayed on the drive, the thing is, no one would have pitted at that point if there wasn't a safety car. And when you're driving in one of these, for us, it's very easy to look on it and be like, that's the wrong time to pit. That is the wrong time. And that's where a race engineer comes in, because you can see it's not the right time to pit. If there wasn't a safety car, no one would have come in.
Yeah, that safety car doesn't come out right there. We have a completely different race on our hands right now, you know, and it's what a gamble it's been. The rain, it's still coming down, the rain, but it's just not heavy enough to really accumulate to a point where the wets are needed.
Yeah, Hurricane now on another charge to try and find Swifty. I don't think he'll get it here, but he's making the Red Bull very aware. He's got a lot of pace, actually, compared to him. Oh, he tried it into 11. He's not going to find it, but he's looking. He's putting a lot of pressure on Swifty here. And looking at the penalties, it's 3 seconds for Swifty, 8 seconds to Hurricane. He is going to drop. And for Azir, Neon's out of the points, and Hurricane's not going to pick up many. He's going to drop all the way down to about 7th, I think, at the end of this one, depending on how the next few laps go for him. Darian Alfie, the only retirement from this race, though.
Very, very unfortunate circumstance resulting in that retirement for the Ferrari coming together. I think it was just a very high-speed section of circuit, just the slightest tap between the two drivers, and unfortunately he had gone off. Neon really not having a good day here in France.
Well, for someone who has not had the best of luck in the past few, he is in a real rut of bad luck, Striff. He has just not had the races he's been having earlier in the season. From the Baku qualifying, it just seems to have gone downhill from there. Hurricane now looking at the inside of Swifty. It's a late move.
Oh,
doesn't
so
quite find it. A little bit
tight.
tucked in the rear.
That was a big, big, big opportunity Hurricane just took right there. And he isn't done. I don't know where this traction is coming from. Where is he finding that exit speed? No, the Ferrari! The game! I think that was the game putting him back to track. I don't know if that was a manual reset or not, but that was about to go very, very bad for the Ferrari.
Yeah, 2 Ferraris nearly getting eaten alive by that wall, but the game, a lot of people saying that was the game. He's been saved there by the Codemasters looking down upon him, and he's now 8th place. But that 8-second time penalty shouldn't cost him too much, because there's 36.2 seconds between him and the next closest driver. Is that Neon again? I think Neon's just had another issue. Or is that the Haas of Hugh Sam? That was a yellow flag. I think it's Hugh Sam. He's going very, very slowly as XTXP, Brommy are side by side trying to get past him. Who is having the issue here? There's a yellow flag for someone. XTXP side by side, and XTXP at his home race. Doing a little donut for the fans, but it's not over. It's lap 26, and he is in 19th position. Not where he wanted to be finishing this one.
Maybe it's time for intermediate compound tires, Unicorn.
Well, if it was, I don't think you'd come into the pit lane. You've got 2 laps, and really not worth it. Unless the only person I think who could come in for intermediate tires is Hurricane. I think he's the only person who could reasonably justify that decision. But even then, I don't think it's time.
This race has just been absolutely a shuffle. Oh. I don't think anybody could have predicted what has occurred in this race. Scars right now, he's quite tight. We're going to take a look as he's hunting down Liam for 6th position here. No penalties in it between these two. Pavel gets Jones for 9th into the 8-9 chicane. Jump back to Scars as he's still with Liam. We're on the penultimate lap of this race, ladies and gentlemen. Azir, Swifty, Crampy, your top three. And, well, I have to say, Unicorn, you might have just given Swifty some very good luck today.
Well, he's still got a penalty, which Crampy is going to look to take advantage of. It's 3 seconds, and Aliens isn't too far out of that window either, but he could be close. He could be close. He could be on for it. He's got a lap to go, and we've seen a lot of mistakes coming out of a lot of drivers. He's still got, you know, a good number of corners. What is that? 10 left until the end of this one. 16 lap old hards. We've seen people have issues on better tires than that. But he just needs to bring this one home. And it will be his first podium of the season if all continues in that way. Crampy right now. What a tire preserving masterclass it's been from him. He's really used those safety cars to his advantage. He didn't blink. He kept those mediums on. It would have been very nice for him to get off of them, I should think. Aliens as well in a similar situation, but Crampy, as Scars and Liam, they've exchanged. They're going side by side down into 8 and 9. Now for Romeo, will be picking up even more points after that one. Liam will try his best to try and find a way back past. It's going to be a drag race down towards turn 11 because it's flat through here. Scars holding him off right now. Liam, oh, he's not going to find anything new there. Can he find a switch back? It's going to be difficult. A few warnings, penalties coming out as well. That Scars looks like he's held on to P6 as Liam slides all over the place. But through the final corner come the leaders this year. What a race it's been. There's a reason why he is at the top of the stands, and he's proved it here today. There was a point in this race where he had no front wing, but he still wins. Swifty P2, but it'll be Crampy taking that second spot on the podium after penalties are applied. Swifty still in third, though, with his first podium of the season. And what a race to get it in. Aliens, 4th place. Brilliant for the Williams squad. Max O'Connor in 5th. Scars in 6th again. Huge points for the Alfa Romeo squad. Liam in 7th. Hurricane finishes 8th, and with a huge haul of penalties, he'll be happy that a lot of people made those mistakes. Pavel, he'll pick up P9, and Jones, well, it's P10 for the Racing Point.
Well,
what a race.
That was a massive race. A lot of excitement in that one as all these drivers come to finish it out. 19 drivers will finish this race. Darian Alfie, unfortunately, the only retirement. Wow. There's not a lot of words I can find right now to really sum that up. I'm trying to really think through all of the dynamics that we've seen in this one, and I'll say one thing. XTXP, well, home GP, we were mentioning how the home GPs can, well, they can be quite hard. XTXP will come through 18th to finish out this race for Renault.
Yeah, very unfortunate for him. As a Renault driver myself, would have loved to see him do a little better, but he's just had some terrible luck there. There's a few drivers here who just haven't had that race that they would have wanted, but there's a few drivers that most certainly have had the race that they needed. And for Azir at the top of the standings, and Crampy as well. Crampy might actually pick up at least P3 in the standings. It's huge for him. Might even get Hurricane as well, given that he was P2 at the end of that. But there he is, Azir. It's the 4th time we've seen him up there. And the Spaniard, very, very happy he will be with that one.
Well, Spanish fans definitely rejoicing today. Not only a win for Williams, but a win for Spain, of course. A very, very thrilling race. A very thrilling race here in France for round 10. Of course, we have Tier 1 tomorrow. We're going to have interviews from the podium finishers in just a few short moments. And, of course, the outro before a lovely raid. Oh, wow. Azir from 8th position collecting this win. Crampy from 12th to 2nd. It was Swifty, 7th to 3rd, finally capturing that elusive podium. Wow. Aliens 19th to 4th. We had Max 15th to 5th for the Mercedes squad. Scars started this race in 6th. He finished this race in 6th. Liam 17th to 7th. What a massive drive coming from a few of these guys. Big, big, big points positions for them. A lot of overtaking. Lovely stuff. Hurricane, he started in 10th. He finishes 8th. It was Pavel, 16th, finishing 9th. Jones dropping back one position for a Racing Point, but getting a point regardless. It was Chris starting 13th. He finishes 11th, we also had Jake, John, Hanners, Harlem, Hugh, Rami, XTXP, Neon, and Darian Alfie in this one. Big shout out to Crammy. Thank you very, very much for the raid. Greatly appreciate that. We'll be with you in just a few moments.
That was brilliant. That was truly an incredible race.
It definitely gave us a lot of thrills. I'll say spills because we had a few spins as well, to say the least. But now we are going to take time to talk to some of these podium finishers, and well, someone I think we've been waiting some time to talk to now. Well, Swifty, hello, and congratulations.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
I am feeling very good, thank you. I've been waiting to get this podium for a while now, I think, through the 2.5 seasons of MRL I've participated in. But yeah, feeling really good, thank you.
What a dynamic race today. We've talked about it a lot through the broadcast, different strategies. We had 2 safety cars, we had rain. Yeah. Just talk us through it. You started this race not in the podium positions, but you definitely got one. So what did it take in this one?
Well, it was definitely difficult with this grid. It's definitely hard to perform in this one. I'll be honest. I thought I'd get a bit more podiums, but yeah, other drivers are really kind of showing up showing up their true pace. Sorry. But yeah, the weather was really dynamic. I stayed on the hard tires, took a gamble for it, and luckily it paid off.
Yeah, big gamble. I think there was a big gamble at one point in this race because of that second safety car coming out at such a unique time. The wet weather starting to kind of maybe come in, but you played your cards right today and you took a P3. So congratulations, 50. How are you looking for the next round for Austria? We have a break week now.
Oh, I'm a big fan of Austria. To be honest, it's a short circuit, so very fast. Times will be very close together, but I feel like I have what it takes to potentially get another podium in there. See how it goes.
Well, we hope to see you here again very soon, Swifty. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That was Swifty, ladies and gentlemen, collecting the 3rd place position here. Now joining us for an interview. Well, Crampy, welcome back. How are you feeling here after France?
Happy and delighted that another podium, really, and that race was very difficult. And yeah, just happy to be able to string more good results together, and yeah.
How are you looking for? Well, I want to ask you, how did Scars feel in that race? Did you communicate with Scars through that race? Were you guys talking? He had a very up and down race. He managed to get 6th in the end. You doing very well, getting that 2nd place position. You guys were doing a lot of laps in qualifying. Can you talk to us a little bit about the team dynamic today?
Right. So basically, in quali, we were just getting back into the track because we had to do something on a different track before. And so we had a decent delta for our actual medium quali run, as you know, mediums are a much better strat than the softs. Scars got a decent lap in, but I didn't. But then throughout the race, Scars had delayed lights, so he got bogged down 10 places on the start, and then kept getting screen freezes, which was unfortunate. But to still get P6 is a great result for the team, and yeah.
Well, good finish today for the Alfa Romeos, to say the least. How are you guys looking towards Austria?
Pretty good. I'm not too sure at the moment, but I know Scars has told me he's confident, so sure. I'm pretty sure it's Easter break now, so we have time to have a breather and get more practice in.
Well,
yeah, have a nice race in 2 weeks.
Congratulations, Crampy. We'll see you again for round 11 in a couple weeks.
Thank you.
Well, that was Crampy, ladies and gentlemen. And now, last but not least, and no stranger to the commentary booth now, Azir, welcome back. Congratulations on the win. And of course, Unicorn, please do us the honor for the race winner, Azir. Congrats.
Yeah, Azir, huge congratulations. It's 3 in a row now. and 4 wins overall, 6 podiums. How are you feeling after what was just an absolutely very dynamic race?
Yeah, feels good. Another time, another win for the team. Also, Alliance P4, so good points for the team in this track. I have to say that this is not my best track, P8 in qualifying, so it is not what I would have liked, but I have managed to overcome. And then, as you say, it's a very dynamic race with the rain. Yeah.
Well, like you said, P8 in qualifying, you had that issue as well with the bring out the first safety car, but you've clawed it back for a win here. That second half of the race, you were really, putting in a shift, really making a lot of overtakes in what were changing conditions. Just talk us through that. How was that second half of the race in terms of how much did you think you could win this race from that difficult position you were in halfway through?
Yeah, I managed to find the best strategy to stay on the track with the heart and reach the end with the rain. But yeah, I never thought that I could win this race.
Well, you have come away with the 25 points, and as well, your rivals Hurricane, he only picked up a couple of points here. Neon, he didn't pick up any cramp. He's now your closest championship rival. You've got almost 40-point lead now in the thick of things. How much does this boost your confidence going into the next few rounds and the rest of the season as a whole?
I think I have to do always my best. So just that.
Well, it was an astonishing race from you. A good result for Williams as well, and really closing in. Alfa Romeo doing great things in this construction. You got a tight battle there, but again, huge congratulations. Just a brilliant drive from you.
Thanks very much.
Okay, and that, ladies and gentlemen, will wrap up the driver interviews here for Tier 2 France. What a race that was, Unicorn. I'm going to have to watch that one again to really digest it. Of course, we will have highlights for all of the races on the YouTube channel just ahead of, well, round 11 in Austria. All the race replays can be found on YouTube, but man, does it ever set the bar for Tier 1 tomorrow?
Well, that's a high bar to set. That is a race that is going to take some topping, I think. Like you said, that's one to watch back with, not just by yourself, but with people. That, there's a break week next week, a beautiful time to rewatch that one, because that was just utterly stunning. That race was really something else. The entertainment, the excitement, my face could not wipe the grin off itself. That was just incredible to watch, incredible to commentate. These drivers should really be proud of themselves, even if they did make a difficult decision with that second safety car. It paid off for some, it didn't pay off for others. It's a gamble, and it's what you love to see. And it paid off for a lot of people here. It didn't pay off for a lot of people. And, well, that's the kind of dynamic we just love to see. You and I love the race. And I think the last two weeks, Drift, they've made a case for our passion for that wet weather.
Yeah, I definitely think so as well. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everyone in the chat, in the stream, viewing along, everyone that's followed along, the raids, the subs, the support of the league, everything. Thank you, everyone. And of course, that will be it for us. Big shout out to our fantastic partners, Next Level Racing. Check them out via the link in the chat. And of course, the panels down below on their website for some awesome sim racing rigs and gear. They're really helping out the sim racing community with some great quality stuff there. So check them out. Well, tomorrow, Tier 1, 8 p.m. GMT, 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we will be going racing again, and it will be Tier 1 here for France. We also have APAC this week, and we will be back on Saturday with the Endurance Series 100% distance race, and that, well, it's going to be Bahrain following the Formula 1 Championship. So a lot of racing coming through left this week, and of course through the rest of the season on the channel. So if you haven't hit that follow button, help us out and get in that Discord as well. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Strifium here from Canada, and, well, we have Unicorn from the UK. We will see you guys tomorrow.